All right. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Voices for Voices TV show and podcast. I'm your host, founder of Voices for Voices, Justin Allen Hayes. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode and our over 280 other episodes. We encourage you to check all those out at your convenience. We're only able to do this because of you, your love and support of having an interest in what we're doing, and so that's what keeps us going. That's what when we wake up in the morning makes us want to uh, do what we do as advocates, as helping other people, other humans, identifying and talking about public safety concerns. Um, and this episode is just like that. So if you're able to give us a thumbs up, subscribe, like, share, follow, all that great stuff, yeah, you can do that for free. That would help us greatly if you're able to. We are a 501(c)(3) charity. We do accept donations on Venmo, Voices, and then the number four, and then Voices. Or you can head on over to our website, Voices, and then the letter spelled out for voices.org. So that's voices for voices.org. And then you're able to click right there on that screen to support the organization and the show. And we can't do this without you. There's no donation that's too small or too large. So thank you to everybody who has ever been a part of Voices for Voices. Thank you. We greatly appreciate all your efforts, um, both here in the United States and at all points across the world, hitting almost 80 countries, 800 cities. Really remarkable. But this episode, this heads into uh, that arena of public safety. So uh, it, different events happen in the public arena, and 10, 15 years ago, we didn't have as many of what we would call these, e-crimes, electronic crimes. Most of them in the past have been face-to-face types of crimes. Uh, you know, some uh, some of these electronic crimes were occurring, but they were just getting off the ground. And we are sad to inform that we have had someone who has uh, been through an awful lot. You've heard his story, his experiences, uh, and and so we're talking about this episode here and this topic for a public safety concern, because if this can happen to our guests, it can happen to any one of us. And so we want to talk about this out in the open. We want to share the topic. We want to share the information because we don't want anybody else to ever have to go through a situation that we're going to be talking about. And it's a very, it's gonna sound extreme, right? So we're gonna talk about death threats, and so it can't really sugarcoat it at all. And so death threats, are words, actions, uh, whether in person or now with these e-crimes electronically, through social media and other electronic means, that that a person or persons threatens the life of another person, another human being. So we're going to be talking about that. So if this is a topic that uh, y- this is a topic that is hard to hear and hear us talk about. We ask you to check out our other 280 plus episodes, because this is raw, this is life, this is real event that happened. This isn't something that happened way far away and it doesn't impact us. it could very well impact any one of us on any given day. So first off, we want to introduce David Solomon to the show again. David, thank you for joining us, especially on this kind of very traumatic occasion.
It's always, like I always say, it's always a pleasure being here and just, you know, helping others through difficult times and just trying to be that light for people. Um, and it is it's an overwhelming and traumatic moment when you wake up and someone, posts on your wall, "I'm going to kill you."
Yeah.
Um, and that's what I woke up to. Um,
And so for
that's
those
what I woke up.
viewers or listeners, we have pulled that up onto the screen. What Dave is talking about is an individual that goes by the name of Duke Ryan Miller. Posted this on David's Facebook wall. David Solomon, yeah, I'll advise you not to post on this site with my dear friend David Solomon, which that's interesting in and of itself because you are David Solomon, so it's your board. Uh, and then it says the artist from Laguna Beach. I'm at my wit's end. I'm about to go down with a cancer situation. I'll find your ass and take you to the Lord with me. D with it's an expletive. And so that's the message that David's going to be referring to. And then this is again a public profile of the individual who made this post with Duke Ryan Miller, and this is an avatar, and, and so just want to give you some context as David is speaking about this. Go ahead, David.
Yeah, so like you're always going to get pushback when you're doing something right, but to have this kind of pushback is sometimes a little shocking. Um, at the same time, um, it's like, why would someone ever do that? Like, who who does that as a human being? Like, I don't know them. I'm not in Laguna Beach. I was there with my mom long ago. I spoke out to protect children. I spoke out to protect people, parents especially, on a very delicate issue. And to get threatened for doing so is uncalled for and inhuman. Like, we're entitled to have free speech. We're entitled to um, to have our opinions. But why this? Like, you could say, I dislike David Solomon. You posted on my wall, you let the whole world see. I haven't talked about that particular issue for a year. And out of nowhere, I haven't reached out, I haven't done anything, and you post on my wall. And that's the inhuman part that I'm frustrated at. You know, as a Christian, we're called to love thy neighbor. You know, I'm not here crucifying other people. I don't like them, but I'm not going to post on their wall. Funny story, Brian Davis took me, right? But I'm not posting on his wall and saying, dude, you did this to me and you did that to me. So it's quite another ordeal when someone publicly posts on your wall that, and I didn't even find out about it until a dear actor friend of mine found out about it and said, dude, he just posted on your wall. So cyberbullying is a real thing. And when you're when you're dealing with that, it's not easy. So, like when you have children and they're bullied online, right? And so, me as a parent, if someone bullies my kid, I'm going to call them out. And so, this is called cyberbullying, but it also takes it a step further and it's a death threat. So, freedom of speech is one thing. This is not freedom of speech. We went way past the line. Like we went, woo, way past. So to the person that did this, that's going to watch this, if you were right to do this to other people, right?
Can you repeat that? You broke up when you were saying that.
So if you're doing this to me, you're doing it to other people. Okay. It's not okay. It's called being human. We are different. We don't agree with everything, and that's okay. But to take it to a whole new level and do this is not okay. So, cyberbullying is a real thing, cyber terrorism is a real thing, and just threatening someone on their social media is a real thing. But you shouldn't be doing that. You should be being human. And at the very least, you call yourself Christian. This is not Christian. Now, they're posting on my wall because I made a statement. I stand by that statement. I said, if there is any slander, it will be reported to the police. That is what I said. You don't have to agree with it. You don't have to say, oh, you know, whatever, but you don't threaten. So that's why I'm a little speechless and a little irritated. Now, I've been in ministry a long time. I've been in the writing world a long time. I've seen a lot. But to wake up to this is a little extreme. Now, it would have been one thing if you posted on my writing. It would have been one thing if you posted on my mythical creatures. You chose to post on my personal page, right? You threatened me on my personal page. And by doing that, you cross the line. So, my job, and I hold it heavy, is to protect my family, to protect children in the writing industry. And I spoke on that. And I abide by that. Okay. And so to the single mothers out there, to the single fathers out there, to the families out there that rely on a safe space for their kids to interact with authors. That's what I spoke about. And I got crucified for it because I said this is wrong. No, but I didn't go on Mr. Scott Miner's Facebook. I didn't do that. So that's why, unlike everything else, I'm just livid with anger because of this. This should never be. So, to the person that did this, if you have a problem with me, I'm going to say it again that I said a year ago. Stop posting on my wall. Stop going to everybody else and come to me. Stop insulting my wife, my son, my family. You have a problem, come to me. That's it. And you call yourself Christian and you call yourself a man of God. This is not what a Christian does. The Bible says a Christian loves thy neighbor, and if there's an enemy that threatens you, you turn the other cheek. You think I'm going to go back and threaten you? No. No, I'm not. I'm going to pray for you. I'm going to pray that God helps you see clarity, but I'm not going to threaten you. I don't want to fight. And so that's a very big thing that you need to know about me. So the fact that I'm making this just to say, dude, stop. There's better things to do. I can make videos all day long on uplifting writers, on uplifting people that are, contemplating terrible things and need that light and need that inspiration. And here I am wasting my breath on you because you chose to have anger on an issue that's wrong in the first place. Instead of acting human, you just blasted it on my social media. So that's what I have to say on it. Be human. And above all, be Christian. Like, if you're a Christian, own it, walk it. Doesn't mean you have to be perfect, but don't do this. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for, sharing some, uh, well, a lot of transparency and some of the feelings. And like you said, it's, we've talked about it quite a bit here on the show and on videos about, uh, the United States of America Constitution, the First Amendment, free speech. Uh, However, when it gets to the point of death threats directed at somebody specifically, that's that's when it, like you mentioned, it really crosses that line. That's when the free speech it doesn't hold up as it would for talking about and having opinions and like that we've done. So thank you for sharing and talking about it. I mean, it's hard. I mean, it's hard for me to when you reached out, and I was just like floored that occurred. Uh, Unfortunately, I can't say I'm surprised. I should be surprised. We all should be surprised when something like this happens because it never should happen. It never should happen. And to put it out there on your personal Facebook page wall for people to see that uh, there's a lot of people that have seen it. And I again, as you can check out, I did a TikTok video on this very topic. So by the time this episode comes out, the TikTok will have been out for a few hours. And what I want to again reiterate that uh, it's a public safety concern. If it can happen to David or anybody, it could happen to you. It could happen to somebody you know. We don't want it to happen to anybody else, but that's why we're talking about it. That's why, a public safety concern, if somebody is being threatened, and this is pretty close to a direct threat as it can be. And then we also want to, alert law enforcement and people in authority, uh, Facebook, Meta, all the tech platforms, the social media platforms. There's no room for this at all. So the mere fact that you don't have an algorithm and you don't have anything in place that pulls this down ahead of time before it gets posted, uh, that's quite alarming. And why is it alarming? Because as we've talked about in very big detail, the Take It Down Act that now is the Take It Down law, that big tech, whether you like it or not, you have 48 hours to take down photos that have been altered, called deep fakes, taking a photo, uh, perfectly innocent picture and turn it into a nude photo. We've talked to Elliston Berry. She's the big driver, and her mom is Anna, and Senator Ted Cruz from the great state of Texas, all the way up the chain to the bipartisan agreement on the House of Representatives and the Senate, as well as President Trump and First Lady Melania Trump. That that is a huge deal. It passed in record time from the time it got started, the legislation process in Texas, and until it became and it is now federal law. So if you don't know that it's federal law and it's a felony to do that, well, it is, and it was signed into law. Just a few short weeks ago. We have quite a few episodes on that. So the reason I'm bringing this up in the same breath is those deep fakes were happening on social media, and that's how they were being shared. And this death threat, our interpretation of it being a death threat, our good faith opinion that this is a death threat that was put on Mr. Solomon's personal Facebook wall. It has no place anywhere, nowhere in society, nowhere. And so big tech, so Meta, Instagram, all X, Snapchat. I know I'm missing a bunch. I'm not as hip as I used to be. Uh, and so we're asking for big tech and law enforcement to take some ownership on these types of things. They shouldn't be getting to the point where, again, Mr. Solomon wakes up in the morning and he's alerted that this happened, just like Elliston Berry in Dallas, Texas, showed up to school one morning and had everybody looking at her a little bit funny and whispering things, only for her to find out that somebody took an image of hers and turned it into one of these deep fake nudes. That's ridiculous. It should not happen. We're in the year 2025, not 1965. So we're reaching out again. And I have to say it every time because it's apparently it hasn't gotten through. I don't know how many more of these incidents, how many more of these postings have to happen before people really wake up and do something about it. And whether your pockets are being lined with money or whatever. And again, we're giving our opinion. We're not saying one way or another, but there's got to be a reason why this stuff isn't being handled the way it should be in the year 2025 with the type of technology that we have out there. Um, so law enforcement, FBI, local law enforcement, city, state, federal, township, county, territory, what have you, when you're made aware of these things, please, please do something about it. Help people, right? Isn't that why you get in that profession to begin with? Is to help people. You want to make society a safer place for you, for me, for your family, for my family, and other families. And when there's no action that happens, uh, then we start to question, like, well, nobody cares about this, so I guess I'm just gonna have to continue living, you know, in in a especially with a death threat and some level of fear. None of us should have to go through any of this. So, law enforcement, please step up, help a fellow United States citizen, and not just Mr. Solomon, because I can almost guarantee that this is not the first time somebody has been uh, given a what seems in our good faith that it's a death threat, and I don't know that it's going to be the last one. And I know we can't do something about every single one ahead of time, but we can at least try. We can put that into our algorithms. That's what you do, that you're big tech. That's how your platforms are run. They're run through algorithms. So somebody somewhere had to write that algorithm. So why doesn't that somebody somewhere go in and tweak that algorithm? And so these types of activities are unacceptable, that they're taken down, that it doesn't take somebody waking up and being told that, somebody has put, what looks like an alleged death threat on their own personal Facebook wall. And then the second part of that take it down act, that now is the take it down law. It's not just for big tech to take those photos and those things down. It's being able to prosecute the individuals who do that. So the individuals who do put those photos, those deep fakes up, they're able to be charged. It's a federal felony for that to happen. And so uh, I would give my opinion that a what looks again in our good faith effort for, in this case, Mr. Solomon, looks like looks to be like a death threat. And so not only should that content be taken down, but that content should be traced back to the individual or individuals who did that, and they should be able to be prosecuted. And you know what, big tech and law enforcement, you should be doing that. It shouldn't be up to the person to find out that these things are happening to them. They're already going through enough trauma as it is. And we've all been through trauma, and it's not fun. All to different various degrees. And so I've been worked up. I've been fired up about these topics, the last few days here, because it appears that nothing's being done about this. And so these actions where people feel that they're able to put what looks to me and us like it looks like a death threat, or to say, hey, and such action happened to you, and such is taking advantage of you, only for that to be all falsehood. And I have to come out, like Mr. Stalin said, he's got plenty of other things to do. We all have plenty of other things to do. The last thing we want to do is have to come here and put an episode together and then do all the admin work to get it up and running and all that. That's the last thing we want to do. We have a lot of great positive things that we could be spending our time on, which we should be, but we're not going to stand idle when these things happen. We're going to respond as much as in real time as possible. And again, I revert anybody back. Do you have questions about this type of activity? Go look at episode 266 on our Voices for Voices TV show and podcast. If you don't know, it's a great show, great organization. You really should follow, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and free stuff to do. And in episode 266, there's an individual who has uh, who's been named as a person who uh, has been taken advantage by somebody else. And this person, our main guest in episode 266, comes out and flat out denies that that never was the case, never happened, no how, nowhere. And some very similar, which we call pattern, right? You heard me talk about X O X O X. What comes after that X? Well, it looks like the pattern X O X O X. I think it's an O. So that's called a pattern. And so in episode 266, the same, some of the same comments and allegations made toward this individual had been made what I found out through good faith, uh, that were being talked about me. And so you saw, and it's still out there, and it will be, that TikTok video. And I've been told, "Oh, Justin, you don't show emotion." And well, guess what? I show pretty good emotion there in that TikTok. And I'm fired up about that. I'm fired up about this, that this here, that Mr. Solomon has to wake up, and anybody anywhere has to wake up to, what looks to us like a death threat. Uh, Nobody should have to do that. So we all can do better. So law enforcement, you can do better. Do you want your child? Do you want your in-laws? Do you want your spouse to have to wake up to this? I don't think so. So why is it okay to just turn the other way? I mean, it's an easy question. Like you should be able to answer that. Why is it okay to do that? Because that's what's exactly happened to Mr. Solomon, and it's happened to me. I've been harassed by individuals, and so has the guest in episode 266. And there, we look at a pattern. Chances are that that might have happened or happening to others as well. Uh, and so that's why we're putting this together, because it's a public safety concern. It's things, they're real life. And so sometimes we don't want to talk about real life unless it's the Kardashians or, uh the housewives of Beverly Hills, or, some reality show. Uh, Survivor. We'll talk about those, but no, we won't talk about, real things that real individuals like Mr. Solomon and myself, and others, uh, are and have gone through. Uh, so you know what? Again, we're an organization. We're going to share and talk about hard topics. We're going to talk about mental health. We're going to talk about trauma. We're going to talk about uh, all kinds of public safety concerns, that a lot of those are included in that. And some are going to be repetitive. And that just means that they're happening to more than one person. And that's where, again, I'm calling for President Trump, your administration. You're doing a great job, at least so far, uh, compared to what looks like, we lost the last administration lost 300,000 children at across the border, or somehow, some way. And the last figures I saw looks like President Trump's administration's been able to locate 10,000 of those. And so we shouldn't have 300,000 of anybody going missing. And so for those to be children, uh, it just boggles my mind. And so you're going to see me fired up. You're going to hear me fired up. And it's because these things are happening in real life. And guess what? We get one chance at life. And so I'm going to spend the rest of my days helping and being an advocate and sharing stories, whether it's mine or others. And that's what Voices for Voices is, and what it will continue to be. If you don't like that, find another show, find another podcast. I've talked about that donut example. If you're looking for glazed donuts, you show up to that first donut shop, they don't have them. You can sit and pout and get upset, or you can go to another donut shop and see if they have them. So it's the same thing. If
Yeah.
you tune into our show and you don't like it, that's okay. We're all able to express and have our, things we like and we don't like. So turn the channel. Uh, so we're staying pure, to who we are. And David, so thank you so much for joining us, and being so transparent with such a hard topic.
Oh,
Uh,
absolutely.
all right. So, and we want to thank you, our viewers, our listeners. Uh,
I just hope that
yeah, go ahead.
I just hope it doesn't happen to other people.
Exactly.
It's happening to other people. So
Yeah. And that's why we're doing it, because it's just, very, very, very unfortunate. So if you're
yeah,
watching, you're listening, if you're in a place of authority, if you can be a whistleblower, if you or your family or somebody knows been a victim to something, sort report it, talk out, share your story on social media because that seems to be one of the only ways that we're able to get our voice to be have a chance to be heard because there's a lot of avenues that have just or plain simply they're just not being listened to or they're just going oh that's not something we're going to deal with or we're not going to look into that or there's other things and that's okay and that's okay. But we also, as citizens, we're able to exercise our First Amendment right. And we're not threatening anybody. We're just sharing straight up facts. And we're showing the facts. So if you don't like it and you're one of the people doing it, then why don't you just stop doing it? That's your call. You're the one that wrote on, typed up on David's wall, not me, not David. And so if that's if that's something and you get, we talk about, being upset about spilled milk, if that's something that worries you, bothers you about people stepping out and talking about it, just stop doing it. That's the quick advice I would give you. And so we're at the end of our time for this show. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. We hope that you're a voice for somebody in need or yourself. And if you'd like to be a guest on our show, please reach out. We'd love to have you. Thanks again to Mr. Solomon for his expertise and just being so transparent. So until next time, I'm Justin Allen Hayes with Voices for Voices, and we'll catch you next time. Bye bye.
Bye bye.